Because so many male survivors of sexual trauma are so afraid of speaking out for so long, the survivor experience gets kind of shrouded in myths, distortions, confusion. So today I want to speak directly to survivors and to those who care about them about a few things that survivors need to know. This is not an easy subject, and for many, if not most men, it's one that tends to be wrapped up in silence, shame, fear, but I want to say up front, you are not alone. What happened was not your fault, and healing is absolutely possible. You're not alone. Let's start with that fact, because so many men carry their pain in total isolation. They might think, no one would understand, I'm the only one, but we know that's not true. Solid research shows that 1 out of 6 men in the United States experienced sexual abuse or assault before their 16th birthday, and those are just the ones we know about. Many more never tell a soul. Sexual abuse can happen to anyone, boys, teens, adult men. It can come from a family member, a coach, friend, spiritual leader, even a partner. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your orientation is, your size, your age. This happens more than we talk about, and it can affect anyone. The abuse was not your fault. I'm going to say that again. The abuse was not your fault. This is one of the hardest things for a lot of male survivors to believe, but it's also one of the most important things for them to hear and hopefully to come to accept. You might feel ashamed or wonder if you let it happen. You might even question whether it was really abuse, especially if you were young and confused, or if your body maybe responded in ways that made you feel guilty or ashamed. But let me be absolutely clear. The responsibility is always on the abuser, not you, not ever. Abusers manipulate, they groom, overpower, they exploit trust and vulnerability. If someone hurt you, no matter what the situation looked like, you are not to blame. Survivors often wonder why they feel off, emotionally, physically, sexually. That confusion is normal. Abuse affects our nervous system, and it can lead to all kinds of challenges. Some of these are anxiety, depression, shame or self-esteem issues, anger or numbness, problems with intimacy, sexuality or trust, nightmares, flashbacks, even a tendency to dissociate or to disconnect from your body. These are not personal failings, they're normal trauma responses. They are your brain and your body trying to survive something that's overwhelming. But with the right support, those responses can soften, life can get easier, and you have the ability to face the trauma and thrive in spite of it. There's a myth that real men can't be victims, that if something happened, you must be weak or soft or less of a man. That's a lie. I repeat, that is a lie. Being male does not make anyone immune to harm, and being harmed doesn't make you any less of a man. Real masculinity is not about pretending that you're invulnerable. It's about owning your story. It's about having the courage to face the truth and reaching for healing even when it's hard. In that, there's real strength. Not all abuse looks like what we see on TV. It's not always forceful or violent. Sometimes it looks like being touched inappropriately by someone that you trusted, being manipulated into sexual activity that you don't really want, or maybe being confused about what was happening but feeling like you couldn't say no, even being violated in your sleep while you're intoxicated or when you're feeling coerced. You don't need bruises to be a survivor. You don't need a perfect story. If you were violated or coerced, if you were used in any way that you didn't want, you have every right to the pain that you're feeling, and you have every right to heal. Sexual trauma can deeply affect how you relate to your body and to others. A lot of survivors avoid sex or intimacy altogether. Some feel triggered by touch or any kind of physical closeness. Some feel ashamed of their sexuality or bodies, and others become kind of hypersexual as a way to cope or to feel in control. None of these responses represent healthy behaviors, but they are all normal, and they can be unlearned with time, with support, and with patience. Healing doesn't mean going back to who you were before. It means building a relationship with your body and your boundaries that feels safe, strong, and free. Some days you may feel fine. Other days, everything hurts. That's how healing from sexual trauma works. It's not a single decision, it's a path. And it's okay if it takes time. You might not even remember everything clearly. Trauma buries memories sometimes, and that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Your body remembers, even if your brain doesn't yet. You get to go at your own pace. You don't have to tell anyone until you're ready. You do not have to fix this all at once. A trauma-informed therapist can be one of the most powerful tools in a survivor's healing journey. Therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that you're strong enough to ask for help. You're brave enough to face the truth, and you're human enough to deserve support. If you've had bad experiences with therapists before, keep trying. Find someone who respects you, someone who listens to you and helps you feel safe. You are allowed to be selective, and you do not have to do this alone. A lot of us men were taught to stuff down our feelings, but sexual trauma survivors often carry anger, grief, confusion, even rage. These emotions aren't dangerous. They're trying to tell you something. You can be angry without being violent. You can grieve what was lost and what was stolen and still move forward. Let yourself feel. It might not be easy. It might be frightening and confusing, particularly at first, but you don't have to do it perfectly. There's no right way to heal. You can do this. Many male sexual trauma survivors never speak their truth out loud, and that's okay. Your experience still matters. It's still real. It still deserves to be addressed. But when you're ready, telling someone can be incredibly powerful, whether it's a therapist like myself, a partner, a friend, even just writing it in a journal. Giving voice to your pain can loosen its hold on you. You don't have to shout it from a rooftop, but you do deserve to be seen, heard, and believed. You may feel broken, but you're not. You're wounded, and wounds heal. Everything you are right now, the fear, the confusion, the shame, is a reflection of what was done to you, not who you are. At your core, beneath that pain, you are still a whole human being. You're still worthy. You're still enough. And there's a life on the other side of this that's bigger, freer, and more peaceful than you might even be able to imagine right now. If you're a male survivor of sexual trauma, I want you to hear a few things very clearly. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are not broken. And you are not beyond healing. You have every right to grieve, to feel angry, to ask questions, even to feel lost. You also have every right to feel joy again, to feel safe again, to rebuild your life. Healing isn't easy, but it is possible, and you don't have to do it alone. You are so much more than what was done to you. You are still here, and that means hope is still here too. Please don't forget that.